Hey Booktube, welcome back to Barter Hordes. My name is Robert, and I know it's not a Friday, and I almost never make videos anymore except on Fridays. But I had something I wanted to ask your opinion about, and so I thought I would do it midweek. And that is Booktube variations on book clubs. I am in a personal situation where I don't have a real life book group of any kind locally. I only have a couple of friends and only one of them really reads. And so I don't have a book club to attend. And I have to admit a little bit of FOMO watching some of Kim Becker's, of K. Becker Books, of her talking about her in real life book club that has met for some, 17, 18 years, I think she said now. Every month for 18 years. It's just been remarkable, and that kind of made me think I'm missing out on something. But I thought in this age of digital connection and Booktube being the medium that brings us all together in the first place, that there might be some possibilities that would work for me and perhaps for you. And so I wanted to throw out 3 possible variations on book clubs and see who may be interested, who prefers which variation, something for me to set up over the next several months. And this isn't just quarantine related. This is something that would continue after we go back to a normal life, if we ever do, because we're still separated, by big distances. The first one would be kind of a traditional book club. Every month you would choose a book as a group. It would be a fixed membership, certain number of people, and you would read the book, all read the same book, and then you would gather at a specified date and time via Zoom, presumably, and discuss it for 40 minutes or until ever they kick you off the free time limit on Zoom. That one's a pretty easy one to set up and administer. You would just have to decide how you would choose your books. The second one is an unusual variation that I haven't seen anybody necessarily doing, and that is a postal book club. Now, this would probably have to be, for my purposes, only in the United States, because the cost of mailing books overseas from the United States is more expensive than the cost of the actual books. So it doesn't really work as well as an international club, whereas the first format would work anywhere in the world as long as you could agree on a time. The way the Postal Club would work, each member of the group on a certain date would choose a book, read it during that month, and then in a letter include their reactions to the book and stick it inside the book. And then at the end of the month, they would mail the book to the next person in the queue. So each month you would be getting a book from somebody else. You would be reading it, adding your comments in a letter, and then sending it along the queue. Depending on how many people are in the group, your rotation cycle could be any length. It could be 6 months if you have 6 members of the group. It could be 12 months if you have 12 members of the group. But at the end of each cycle, the book would come back to the person who picked it and started it along the way, and you have everybody's comments to read as a way of kind of remembering the discussion. So it's not an in-person discussion as much as it is a postal discussion. A little bit more complicated and more books going on at one time, but also an interesting twist. And then the third variation is the very used option here on Booktube, and that is a read-along, where I would announce a book each month that we would read on a given schedule, and the group would check in on Voxer on specific dates. That works really well if people stick to the schedule. It doesn't work as well if people aren't as rigid about the reading schedule. Let's say you have 7 members and 4 of them are not on schedule. You don't have as much of a discussion on the check-in dates. So that one would require a little bit more self-discipline among the members to stay on schedule and to check in regularly on Voxer. I'm the kind of reader that I like to read 50 pages in a book each day. So a book usually takes me about a week to read. An average book is 300 to 350 pages. And so if I'm reading 50 pages a day, I'll finish the book in a week. I choose to read 3 books at a time, so I'm actually reading 150 pages a day, but I'm just doing it in different books. So my typical week is 3 books. But doing this, you would just choose when the start and end dates were, what the page numbers were by a certain date, and when you would check in on Voxer, and it would be more of a read-along than an actual fixed book club, because the membership might change from month to month depending on who is interested in doing that read-along. So that one has some advantages in flexibility, but it also has some disadvantages in flexibility. So those are the 3 versions that came to mind when I was thinking about doing some kind of a book club online. The monthly book club on Zoom, the Postal Book Club, which is still a monthly book club through the mailing of books, and then a monthly read-along. I don't want to do all 3 because I don't want to commit to that many books ahead of time, but I'm interested in maybe starting one or another of those types in the next month or 2. So if that's something that you would be interested in, let me know in the comments below. And if you have a preference for which of the 3 formats you like the best, let me know that as well. And if there's sufficient interest and the format works out well for all of us, I might set something like that up for the summer. All right, I'll talk to you again on Friday, everybody. I hope you're having a good week, and I'll see you then. Bye.